everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Viper Falls, A Week in the Life. This is part two of Dylan's story, so if you missed part one, be sure to check it out below in the link in my bio. So now we are just back. It is an early Saturday morning, the end of summer, on the cusp of fall. Danielle is up early playing fetch with Cheddar in the backyard, and Charli is working in the greenhouse as always. This is kind of a family of insomniacs. They're always up at odd hours of the night. And things are just pretty quiet right now. Danielle's been struggling with a bit of writer's block. She's had a want to write a best-selling novel for quite some time now. She just can't think of what to write about. So she's hoping by being outside in nature, playing with Cheddar, it'll help get some ideas flowing. And it looks like Eloise, Danielle's toddler daughter, is awake as well. So we'll go ahead and just wake Dylan up and have the whole family up before 6 a.m. And Dylan really needs to take a shower. I think he got home late from work the night before and just climbed into bed. So he's gonna shower. Charli is out working in her beloved garden. She still has a fear of her late husband returning as a zombie. Dylan works in the paranormal career and he floated the idea that maybe he could bring his father back. And Charli did not take well to that idea. Dylan doesn't even have the want anymore of bringing Cal back as a zombie, but Charli is still terrified of the idea. The fact that he even brought it up at all has just been haunting her, and she really does not want Pal to return. I think she really enjoys her single life now, too, and just enjoying the garden on her own terms with not having to stick to the rigorous schedule that Pal made them do. They were in the garden from sunrise to sunset every night, and Pal did not let anyone else in the greenhouse except for Charli and himself for fear of the plants being hurt or dying. And Charli's like, you know what? There's bigger issues at stake than plants like not being the perfect or ripe enough for harvest. Charli's like, whatever. Everybody's welcome in the greenhouse. And Danielle is going to go ahead and head off to work. She is a dance instructor at the local gym. She is co-workers with Donna Jo, who is Dylan's cousin. Dylan is just doing some cleaning up around the house, mopping up his puddle from his shower, and then he's gonna go downstairs, get some breakfast after he plays with the synthesizer. Everyone in the house is absolutely obsessed with this. They're always going over to it and experimenting. I think they're a really creative house, and they were just kind of afraid to explore that creativity for a long time. And not that Pal was prohibiting creativity. It's not like Footloose. He wasn't like banning dancing or anything. But he just had a very like work hard, don't play mindset instead of work hard, play hard. And it kind of took a toll on everybody's mental health, especially towards the end when Pal was very sick and had to be bedridden, and he refused to be bedridden, which ultimately led to his death. But he was still trying to run the household when he was very weak and very sick, and it was just kind of stressful for everybody to watch. In a way, Dylan's kind of glad that Pal passed before Eloise was a toddler, so she doesn't have any memories of that rigidness or that fear of being in the greenhouse like he always had growing up. Dylan's just really enjoying his life now. He and his mom are mending their relationship, and Dylan's literally outside stopping to smell the flowers. So Dylan is just outside cleaning up some of Cheddar's mess. And then he's going to go ahead and start working on the car in the driveway. He's not too skilled at restoring cars quite yet, but he's definitely getting there. And the cars have sat out there for so long. So now he's just excited that he's finally has the courage to pursue his dreams. And his mother, Charli, is working in her garden per usual. And there's just a nice, relaxed vibe in the house these days. No pressure, just a chillin'. Their butler Connor is feeding Eloise lunch, and then Dylan is starving right now too, so he's just gonna start raiding the fridge. This is an autonomous action that Sims will do if they're really hungry. My favorite is when they start drinking the milk. And let's take a look at what Dylan wants. Oh, never mind. And then we are back outside with Charli. She's just harvesting the eggplants. I really love having the greenhouse because I am pretty terrible at remembering which plants are best in which season. And with the greenhouse, you can harvest them all year round and then grow the best all year round. And you also when it snows, you don't have to put your gardening on hold for a little bit. That's always the most frustrating part for me during the winter months when they can't garden. So it's really nice that Charli is able to garden whenever she wants. She and Pal built the greenhouse as soon as they came into a little bit of money. They both have nature, or in Pal's case, had nature as their one true hobby. And that's what really bonded them together, but ultimately kind of drifted them apart because, especially towards the end of his life, Powell became so obsessed with gardening and, like I said, forbade anyone but Charli and himself from being in the greenhouse, which really strained tensions with everybody in the house. And then Dylan is just catching up on some emails, or a video game, I should say, while Eloise sleeps next to him. I think Dylan is a little envious of Eloise and Charli's relationship. He feels that his parents, especially his father, but Pal's gone now, but he feels that his mom was never that hands-on with him as a child. I don't even think Dylan learned all his skills as a toddler. And now it kind of stings for him to see his mom always playing with Eloise and just kind of showing a side of herself that Dylan didn't really get to know until he was an adult. So Dylan's kind of grappling with the idea that his mom didn't give him the best childhood, and that sums it up. No thoughts, head empty. He's grappling with the idea that his mom didn't give him necessarily the best childhood, but she's really going above and beyond for his daughter. And he's just not really having any thoughts. He's just kind of trying to process everything. I think he's still trying to process Powell's death as well, and coming to terms with the fact that he and his dad just didn't have a good relationship, and his dad wasn't the best father. He did the best with what he could, but he kind of fell short at times. And Dylan's just working towards all his feelings, trying to forgive both his parents while keeping his head afloat, focusing on his career and raising his own daughter. So he just has a lot on his plate right now. And Eloise is just taking her little afternoon nap. She is on a great track to learn all of her toddler skills before she ages into a child. Her grandma just gardens now while Eloise is sleeping instead of gardening all the time. Her focus is now on her granddaughter and spending as much time with her as possible. I think Charli sees a lot of Powell in Eloise as well, which really strengthens their bond. Eloise acts a lot like her grandfather, and Charli finds comfort in that. And there we go. Eloise has learned to talk. Dylan is outside working on his car. It looks like the exterior is all done now, the easy part. Now he's just fiddling with the motor and everything, but he's still not totally sure if he's doing it right. He's kind of self-taught, navigating these waters by himself. But he's trying new things, and that's really all you can do, right? I believe that Dylan is off work tonight, so I think when Danielle gets home from work, they're gonna go on a date night, and Charli's gonna stay home and babysit Eloise. Dylan and Danielle haven't really been on a proper date since they moved in together. I was going to say married, but they're famously or infamously not engaged, not married, just boyfriend, girlfriend. But unlike with Ted and Donna Joe, it works because neither is trying to step out. They're both way too career focused to have an affair. I think they both just don't really care about marriage. They're not romance sims, they're not family sims, they're not popularity sims. They just, and Eloise just threw up on Charli, but it is a-okay. And I was actually mistaken. Dylan does not have off work tonight, but I think we're gonna have him use one of his sick days because I really want him and Danielle to go on a date. I think it would be really good for them just to reconnect and remind themselves why they fell in love with each other. I feel like Dylan's been very distant from the whole family since his father died, understandably so. But Danielle's like, okay, come on, you still gotta keep living and being involved in your life for me and your daughter's sake, and your mother. Your mother is still here as well. And Dylan's like, you know what? You're right. Yeah, he has one vacation day, and we're gonna go ahead and use it tonight to send him and Danielle on a much needed date night. Also, his needs are very red right now, so I don't know if he'd be the best employee. He needs to go take a nap and take a shower very desperately. The family earned some simoleons by investing today. Charli is just taking a quick shower before Danielle and Dylan head off to their date night. Like I said, Dylan has already dropped the idea of bringing his dad back, and Charli's still terrified. She's an older generation, older sim, still terrified that her husband is gonna come back as a zombie. And the butler is disgusted by how bad Dylan smells. I keep forgetting this family only has one shower or tub, so we definitely need to build another one soon so they can all shower when needed. And Charli's also going to take a little nap before they head out, just so she's well rested and can give Eloise her full attention while the parents are on their date night. Dylan and Danielle have not really been on a date since college. They've just been so busy with their careers and then the birth of Eloise and the passing of Powell that they really haven't had time for each other. So I think this date is going to be a great time for them. I don't think any engagement or anything crazy is going to happen, but I think they just need to spend some time with each other and remind each other why they fell in love. Danielle is really getting along well with Charli now. Powell, for some reason, did not care for Danielle at all and was always trying to turn the family against her by spreading random rumors about her cheating or just being a bad mom. So Danielle wasn't really too heartbroken when Powell passed. She didn't hate him, but she was kind of like, he's a crazy old man. So we just have Danielle and Dylan resting up before their date night. Both their energy bars were getting kind of low. Charli is already stepping up as the babysitter for the night and training Eloise and the potty. Again, Charli just has a whole new lease on life since the passing of her husband, Pal. She really wants to become closer with all her family members. Her relationships with her children have definitely become strained over the years as they've become adults. And she just wants to be back in their life, and she's trying. And she knows that she can't make up for lost time, and she can only be better moving forward. Dylan is really hesitant of his mom's newest or new outlook. He doesn't fully trust her because, again, she was so distant growing up. But as we discussed, Charli had a lot of trauma that occurred to her when all her children were very young, when Charli's siblings and mother all died within the same sim day. And that really changed Charli, made her very reclusive and just kind of following Pow's lead on things. Not necessarily the right thing to do at the time, but she was too upset and distraught to really do anything else but follow Pow's lead. And Pal was just like, okay, we need to devote all our time to making money and working in the garden. And Charli was just so depressed. She was like, okay. And she kind of used the garden as a way to hide from her family and her feelings. But now that Pal has passed on, she's realized she doesn't even really like gardening that much. It is her one true hobby, but she's not obsessive with it like Powell was. And she actually has a secondary aspiration of being a family sim. So she's all about just being a family sim now. And Danielle's going to go ahead and call the taxi over to take them downtown to go on their date night. Again, they haven't really been on a date together since college, and I'm gonna go ahead and change them both into some formal outfits because we want to look sharp on this date night. We want to look cute. And there they are in their nice little date night outfits. And I think we're actually gonna start in Viper Falls and then head downtown. They're gonna hit the roller rink before going out to dinner. Just something cute and fun for the two of them. And Charli, of course, is gonna stay home and babysit their daughter, Eloise, so they can have a date night and just kind of bond and talk with each other. Danielle's noticed that Dylan's been very depressed, understandably so, since his father died. And like we discussed last time, Dylan's more upset that he and his dad never really had a good relationship, and his dad died without them having that good relationship. So Danielle's like, come on, let's take your mind off things. Let's go roller skating. They're kind of overdressed to go roller skating, and the place is not as packed as I would like it to be. I had never used this lot before. It's just one of the Sims 2 pre-made lots that I believe came with the seasons, and I didn't realize it was such like a race car theme. This roller rink actually inspired me to start making my own Viper Falls community lots. So I think going forward, we're gonna see more of the Sims and the Viper Falls neighborhood. I really went crazy and built a lot of community lots. And here are Danielle and Dylan just learning how to skate. Dylan's kind of lapping her. Danielle's trying to keep up and talk to him, and he's like, no, get away from me. She's like, wait for me. Okay, and now they're in sync together. I'm like, why is there no one else skating? Why are they the only ones skating? And then I was trying to see what little special moves they can do while skating, but they're both like not really in sync, so it was kind of hard for them to do anything cute together. I thought this would be a cute little, like they hold hands and twirl, cute little date night, but Dylan's just running ahead, lapping Danielle. Dylan clearly has some skill in roller skating that Danielle does not have, and Dylan's not waiting up for anybody despite this being a date night. He's like, I'm here to skate. And there seems to be a lot of elderly Sims at the roller rink, not really anyone else on the date night. Lots of older women by themselves. It wasn't really the romantic vibe that Danielle and Dylan were looking for, and Danielle kept getting frustrated that Dylan was not waiting for her and trying to stop. And then Dylan was finally like, okay, I'll skate with you because you keep stopping. And then, yeah, I was like, this is a mess. And then Dylan couldn't get out of the roller rink. He's just trapped skating forever. Danielle's fed up. She does not want to skate anymore. Yeah, Danielle hates skating. There's like a traffic jam right here. There's another side for them to get out, but they're all trying to get out on the same side. Yeah, neither seem to be a big fan of skating. Dylan's like, oh, why'd you stop? Danielle's like, you didn't really wait for me. And then Dylan was like, oh, I got really fit skating. See, I didn't know that skating raised their fitness. Good to know. A couple young people kind of started to show up, but by that point, Dylan and Danielle were pretty tired and hungry. So I decided to have them head out to a restaurant downtown. Danielle is trying her hand at skating one more time before the taxi gets there. She feels a little more confident skating on her own without Dylan lapping her. I think Dylan, again, is just very bothered by Paolo's passing, and now he's kind of bothered by his mom's renewed interest in his life and how good of a grandmother she's being. I think it's kind of traumatizing for him to watch, ironically enough, his mom be a good grandmother because she was such a terrible parent to him growing up. And not a terrible parent, like, they weren't abusive, they just were very emotionally distant, emotionally closed off. They had a lot of money, but it was just always tense and awkward and weird in the house. Again, I don't think Charli processed any of her trauma, and then that kind of got passed on to Dylan. And now that his father has died, he has a lot of unresolved trauma, a lot of unresolved feelings about how he was raised. I think skating was the first time Dylan had really had time to think about all these thoughts, and he didn't like thinking about it, so he just skated really fast to try to avoid thinking. He's almost jealous of how close his mom is with his daughter, which he knows is like a ridiculous notion. Like, his daughter's a toddler. It's great that his mom is stepping up and being a present grandmother now, but it still hurts that she wasn't really there for him when he was younger. And Danielle's like, here, I know what'll take your mind off it. And I think we all know what happens when the Sims go to the photo booth autonomously on a lot like this. So Danielle is trying to take Dylan's mind off everything in a very public diner. Does not seem like the most romantic place to do that or the best place, but it's The Sims 2 and they're gonna do what they want. The whole staff is running over to stare. That waiter seems like she's cool with it. She's down with it. And Danielle's like, didn't that just make your gray day disappear? Didn't that make your mood so much better? Yeah, and Dylan's like, yeah, it kind of did. It took my mind off things for a minute. I mean, of course, it's not a permanent fix, and Dylan's still struggling with his emotions, but I think Danielle is really helping him realize that it's actually a good thing that his mom is more involved in their daughter's life, that his mom is trying to be a good grandmother. And yes, she wasn't the best parent, but she had a lot of her own trauma to work through. And Dylan's like, you know what, you're right, and I don't want to repeat that cycle with Eloise. I don't want to have my own trauma blocking me from connecting with her. So he's like, I'm going to try to get past it and just focus on the present. Now Dylan's gonna go ahead and grab a table for him and Danielle so they can sit down and enjoy a nice meal together. Okay, I don't know why he couldn't sit down, but he got it. Did y'all see? She just jumped over him, but they're gonna sit on the same side of the booth. That was actually a terrifying animation. And the waitress who was cheering on their photo booth woohoo is gonna be their waitress because of course she is. In real life, this would be a horrifying experience for both parties. In The Sims 2, it's just another night out. It is what it is. And I think Danielle's kind of, again, just telling Dylan it's a good thing that your mom is so involved now. She's trying to be better. And I think that's a common theme that we keep seeing again and again in these households across Viper Falls. Is all you can really do is try to be better than the day before. And just, you can always work to better yourself. That food came out really fast. And they ordered lobster at this diner. I don't know if I would trust lobster at this diner, but it looks pretty tasty. This weird man is borderline sexually harassing Danielle as she's trying to eat dinner with her husband. Okay, good. He's going away, and he's mad that he can't just sit down in the booth next to them without a reservation. Thankfully, the hostess sees he's being kind of creepy, so she's going to slide a girl into that booth so he cannot sit there. He's pretending that he's interested in all the decor on their table. He's really just trying to get another look at Danielle. Dylan's like, this is kind of an overwhelming experience. But Danielle's like, it's good that we're out here and living life, and it's taking your mind off your mom and everything and your dad. And of course, Dylan's always going to miss his dad and always mourn that relationship they never had. But Dylan's like, Danielle's right. All I can do is really try to be better and just be a great dad to Eloise and a great son to my mom and just do my good where I can. This creepy man will not stop greeting every single woman on the lot. And I've never had Sims sit on the same side of the booth before, so I was like, ooh, what can we do in this booth? And they started to get a little hot and heavy. I've never seen that make out before. Again, so crazy. I've been playing this game almost since it came out, and there's still a lot I haven't done. That creepy man is back. He's kind of killing the vibe. Danielle had a terrible date with him, said that he's kind of boring, but it's okay because they live together and have a child together, so I don't really think it'll affect their mood too much. Oh, and I did go ahead and look up what each of the seasons can do. So, summer boosts a friendship, spring boosts romance, winter boosts family relationships, and then the fall, it makes them skill faster. So, I didn't learn that until a few months ago, that each of the seasons kind of has a little bonus perk in there, which is like really cool. And this woman right here in the purple dress is actually Cyrus's girlfriend that he was living with at the time that he died. So, in another life, that woman would have been Dylan's aunt, but they never married or had kids, and she moved out and kind of went about her life after. Here's Mrs. Crumplebottom lurking outside, just waiting to hit somebody with her purse. Aw, I've never noticed that she knits while she's idling. That's kind of cute. And now at this point, Dylan and Danielle have been out all night. It's 8 in the morning. They're both exhausted. So I'm going to go ahead and call a taxi and have them head back to the house. Charli's been watching Eloise for like 12 hours at this point. She's also kind of tired and a little concerned because they said they were going to go skating and then to the diner and they were gone all night. She's like, what? Were y'all skating for hours? But anyway... So Dylan really needed this night out, and now he's returning home with a renewed sense of confidence and just, oh my gosh, I don't know who's in the photo booth now. I missed that. Just some random Sims. That photo booth needs a deep cleaning after everybody's gone. I can't imagine how many people are just going in there and doing whatever. Mrs. Crumplebottom is disgusted, and low-key, I'm kind of with her. She's like, oh my gosh, don't they know that's how babies get made? Oh no, she's coming with her purse. Get him, Mrs. Crumplebottom. Get him. And now Dylan and Danielle are home. It is raining. I used to play with mods that would change the time or adjust the time back on their home lot when they went to community lots. But I think I had a lot of mod conflicts and I kept crashing my game, so I just took them out, and now we just play with the extra time in the household. I kind of struggled keeping the continuity in this round, but in the upcoming rounds, I get better at making sure it's equal amount of times per household. So that's why everyone's weeks seem a little varied right now. I'm trying to kind of stick to a strict 90 minutes, but when they go to community lots, it does get a little hard to keep that in sync. Danielle and Dylan are immediately going to bed. They are exhausted from their night out. Dylan used a day of paid vacation. Well, his only day of paid vacation. And then Charli is finally getting to sit down, have a bite to eat after a full night of wrangling the toddler. All the food in their fridge is very sparkly because Powell did leave Charli with a lot of fruits and vegetables when he passed. So they always have fresh, sparkling food. Eloise seems to be wide awake and it's close to midnight. So I think Charli is going to go ahead and teach her granddaughter some more skills. I think Charli and Dylan will have a heart-to-heart very soon and kind of air all their grievances because, as we've seen in this family, they really like to keep things bottled up. They don't really like to discuss their feelings. No one ever really let Charli mourn the tragic loss that affected her family. And like I said, that totally changed her life when her sister, brother, and mother all died at once. Totally altered her mood, made her very withdrawn. But then again, this most recent passing of Pal has altered her mood again and made her realize that she's tired of being sad and withdrawn and she wants to be an active participant in her life again. She feels like her life kind of just went by without her noticing, and now she's nearing the end and she's like, oh my gosh, I just want to be there with my family and spend as much time with my family as I can. She cannot believe how much time she's wasted in that greenhouse, literally spending 12 hours a day just working in the greenhouse garden, talking to nobody but the plants all day. And even though her back hurts when she's teaching Eloise her skills, she's still like, this is so worth it. I want to do this forever. And she's so thankful that Eloise was born, that Danielle lives with them. She also regrets how mean she and Pal treated Danielle when Danielle first moved in, trying to orchestrate the fake rumor that Danielle had an affair on Dylan. Charli now sees that Danielle is an excellent partner for Dylan. She's there for ways in Dylan that Charli never was before. And Danielle, of course, also gifted her with the best gift of all, the birth of her granddaughter. Charli definitely needs to work to mend her relationship with Dawn and Dawson, who, like I said, are about 10 years older than Dylan. I think it can be argued that Dawn and Dawson somewhat had a worse upbringing than Dylan, at least with Dylan. He was so young when the whole tragedy happened, he never really got to see the loving side of his mom, whereas Dawn and Dawson, they grew up with a loving, hands-on mom. And then all of a sudden there was that shift in her personality when they were about 10 years old. And I don't think they ever really recovered from that. Charli's never met her grandson Edward, and that really hurts her because Edward is getting older now. I think he's almost a child. And Dawn and Dawson moved out as soon as they could. They didn't want any help with college because that would mean more assistance, more communication with their parents, and they were just so burnt out by their parents' lack of interest in their own life. They were like, we don't want to keep getting hurt over and over again. Dylan didn't really understand that at the time, but now he does. When Dylan went to college, his parents did not call him at all. He did not speak to his parents the whole 4 years he was at college, and he kind of got to watch his roommate Dean have a good relationship with his family. And even though Dean's family has their own issues, Dean's family called him and visited him all the time, and Dylan was jealous. Dean definitely took Dylan under his wing, kind of helped him navigate life. And again, there's that whole other layer between Dean and Dylan because Dean's mother is Campbell, and Charli and Campbell were college roommates and best friends until Charli hooked up with Campbell's boyfriend, Joe Carr. And since then, Campbell has never spoken to Charli. Charli felt like she had to stay with Powell because he forgave her for that cheating, even though after a long time she realized she really wasn't happy in her marriage. But by that point, they had 3 kids, and she didn't really know what else to do. She was just so hard on herself, and she was always never forgiving herself for what she knows now and like lessons that only time can teach. And now that Charli is at the end of her life, she is trying to forgive herself and realizing that people make mistakes, things happen, but as long as you learn from them and keep moving, that's really all you can do. And here she is late at night while the rest of the house is sleeping, putting the finishing touches on Dylan's family portrait. I think she's been working on this for quite a few days now, but things have just been so busy and hectic with Powell's passing and the family and just trying to be more present. But now, because like she wakes up at odd hours, she's like, I'm gonna work on this portrait. And now that Charli's kind of doing the work to forgive herself, she can be more present. She's not feeling so guilty. I mean, she feels bad for the mistakes she's made, don't get her wrong, but she's like, I can't change the past. All I can do is move forward. And I think Charli might call up Campbell and apologize for how things have been as well. Oh, and Eloise is waking up this Sunday morning by drinking an expired bottle. That thing looks very scary, and she immediately threw up. Poor little baby. Danielle called dibs on the first bath of the morning. Let's see. She wants to make a friend, buy an expensive sculpture, adopt a puppy or kitten, and then go to work. And she's just soaking, relaxing. I think she's really tired from the date night from before. She's glad that she and Dylan got to talk things out and she got to kind of understand where he's coming from. But also it was kind of exhausting just having to talk him down from a ledge and be like, yes, you can be angry at your mom, but do you want to spend the rest of your life angry with her, or do you want to spend the time you have with her forming a good relationship so you guys can have a good relationship from now on and you don't have these regrets when she eventually passes on? And Dylan's like, you're so right. I need to work through my issues just to be present. And he's so lucky that he has a mom who's trying, because some parents, as we've seen, they don't really try. And Pal didn't really try, especially towards the end of his life. He was very selfish, refused to be rested, and Dylan kind of wonders if his dad had rested more, maybe he wouldn't have passed. But if his dad hadn't passed, his mom wouldn't be so loving and welcoming now. So, I don't know. Dylan doesn't have all the answers, but he has Danielle by his side, and she's helping him definitely see things through a different lens. And Danielle is heading off to work this morning. Dylan has work later this evening, but not until 5 p.m. So he's just gonna work on the car for a little bit, do some little chores this morning. And then I took a look at Eloise, and her needs are pretty red. But good thing Charli is awake, and the butler's also here. So we have lots of adults around to take care of her. And I think Dylan's realizing that he needs to be more present. He can't just slack off his parenting duties to his mom and the butler. He also needs to talk to Eloise and raise his daughter. He's really scared of making the same mistakes that his parents made raising him. But Danielle kind of pointed out that the fact that he's afraid already puts him way ahead of his parents. His parents were going through so much turmoil that they weren't even registering the effect they were having on their children until later in life. And the way that Dylan's concerned about it when Eloise is still a baby shows that he's going to be a great dad, that he is a great dad. And Charli's slowly getting back into gardening. She's not as obsessive about it as she was when Pal was still alive. Like I said, I think she did a lot of reflection and realized that she was just using gardening as an escapism to not be present in her children's life, to avoid dealing with her own feelings. And she kind of took a big step back after Pal passed, because she was like, maybe I hate gardening. But she's like, no, I do like gardening. I just need to find a happy medium. I like doing it on my own terms. She does have a green thumb. She gets a lot of joy from gardening, but she doesn't want to spend 12 hours a day in the greenhouse anymore. She's okay with the butler helping. She's okay with Dylan helping. She has realized a garden grows so much better when everybody is working together, when the family is involved. And just like Dylan, she's realizing how blessed she is that Dylan moved back home. True, Dylan only kind of moved back home because he was broke post-grad from college, but now that he and Danielle are making more money, they haven't moved out. And I think it's kind of unspoken that Dylan's gonna stay with his mom. And Charli's so thankful she's not alone in her elder years. She's so thankful that she's been able to forgive herself to be more present. And she knows she has to work on her children's forgiveness too, but I think Dylan's pretty close to getting there. Again, Danielle has really showed him that his mom is genuinely trying. And that's major strength on Danielle's part because Charli and Powell did try to smear her name when she and Dylan first got together. And speaking of Danielle, we have a little chance card right here. Y'all can pause to read. And I felt like she would bust a move, and that immediately gave her the promotion she's been looking for. So Danielle got instantly rewarded for helping Dylan through his own issues, for putting her own ego aside, and helping Dylan see that his mom loves him very much, and his dad loved him very much too, in his own little weird way. He just didn't express it very well, but he always made sure that the bills were paid and the family had fresh produce to eat. So now Danielle is a pop and lock performer. I think she's actually above Donna Jo now in the dance career track, which is going to send Donna Jo into a spiral because Donna Jo's been working in the dance career far longer than Danielle, but I think Danielle going to college kind of gave her a leg up in the dance career track. And Dylan's so proud of her. He's like, way to go, honey, and thank you again for all your kind words last night. And then Dylan's back working on the car. Like I said, I think the exterior is finished. He just needs to tweak the engine a little bit. And Danielle is actually helping Charli out in the garden. She doesn't have too much of a green thumb, so she's not doing too much, not trying to overstep any boundaries, but Danielle did poke her head in there, and she was like, hey, you need any help? And Charli was like, you know what? Sure. So they're all trying to mend their relationship, and then Danielle immediately got called back to work, even though she just got home. That's the life of a dancer, baby. That's the life of a showgirl. So Dylan is just working on the car. I really think I want to have Dylan open up a used car lot or restoration car lot where he just is selling all of the cars he restores. I think we'll definitely explore that in the next few parts, kind of having Dylan become this big car lot salesman. But for now, I guess he needs to just learn how to make the cars fast. And also, he doesn't want to fall into the same trap that his parents did, where they became so obsessive with their hobbies and being the best of the hobby that it really wasn't fun anymore. And I don't think it was fun for Powell either, despite how obsessive he was over the garden. I think he had some unresolved trauma from Charli cheating on him. They never really talked about it other than Charli just apologizing and then moving out of the apartment complex. But I think he kind of held a grudge for that, so he became obsessive over his garden because it's all he could control, and he was very distant from his children. But now Dylan's trying to heal those generational wounds. He's out here getting some nature enthusiasm. Despite it not being his one true hobby, I think Dylan feels that by getting some nature enthusiasm, he's getting closer to understanding his parents, and more specifically his dad. I think Dylan's going to really struggle for a long time with trying just to grapple, like I keep saying, with the idea that his dad passed away before they could ever really have a good relationship, but I don't think they ever were going to get one. I think no matter when Powell passed away, he was always going to pass away with not having the best relationship with his children, and they're all just trying to move forward with that. And Charli, again, is really regretful of how long she spent avoiding her feelings. Now that she's older, she's kind of come to understand that your feelings, big and small, really just make up who you are, and that's the whole point of life, is to feel it and let yourself feel instead of shutting yourself off. But of course, she had a lot of trauma, a lot of growing up to do to get to this point.
Oh, creme shad.
And Dylan is absolutely disgusted by how Cheddar smells, but he's still gonna give the stinky puppy a nice belly rub. But I think we should put Cheddar in the backyard and go ahead and give him a little dog bath. Charli just received her daily pension check. And see, she's done gardening for now. She's gonna go inside, use the bathroom, and just not be so obsessive. And the carpool comes for Dylan in an hour, but that's fine. That is just enough time to give Cheddar a dog bath. Eerily enough, this is the exact spot where Pal passed away. I think he passed away like mid giving Cheddar a dog bath. He just had a coughing attack and fell over. So Dylan's a little creeped out, standing in the exact spot his dad died, doing the exact same thing, but he has to keep reminding himself he's not his dad. And Dylan is just working as hard as he can to fight the urge to be like his dad. I mean, again, his dad provided for the family. They had a lot of money, a big house, but that wasn't enough. You also need the emotional support. So Dylan is really trying to give that emotional support to his family when he can. But he's also, like his parents, kind of avoidant, kind of afraid of feeling things or messing up. So I think that is what's kind of prohibiting Dylan from, I don't know. He's kind of distant from Eloise, but he knows he's distant. He's trying to work through it. He's just so afraid of messing up. But he's like, okay, but messing up is better than having no relationship at all. And he's gonna head to work in the old sloppy jalopy. There's a little jogger. And now Dylan and Danielle are both at work. Charli has finished Dylan's portrait, and Eloise is passed out in the kitchen. What a day. We went ahead and we're going to wake Eloise up. The butler's going to give her pre-dinner snack, or I guess her bottle for dinner, and then probably put her in her crib. It's almost 6 p.m., so she's going to age up in about one sim day, Monday night. Oh, and now we're in fall. So as we remembered, in the fall, everybody's skill points, they gain skills a little faster, which is perfect for Dylan. He's trying to get his mechanical skill points up so he can get really fast at restoring old cars. He's found a love and passion in restoring old cars. Oh, and Campbell actually called and asked to speak to Dylan, and Charli kind of freaked out that Campbell was on the phone. These two women have not spoken to each other in years, despite their sons being college roommates. Charli just dealt with that by never visiting Dylan in college to avoid never running into Campbell. So Campbell got really freaked out by the idea of Campbell on the phone. Charli's like, okay, I really need to work to make amends with her. This is clearly bothering her conscience, and she also needs to work on telling Dylan she's sorry. But for now, she's going to take Cheddar on a little walk. I don't know why it took him a minute to get out of the house, but it's fine. So now everybody's out of the house, and while Cheddar's gone, Eloise is going to take a nap in the dog bed. And I know Eloise knows how to talk, but it looks like we still need to teach her how to walk and how to be potty trained. I think she's pretty close to both of them. I'm confident she will get all her needs met by the following day. She's in gold aspirations, so we're looking pretty good. And in the background, we can just see the butler Connor taking out the trash. I love the lighting mod I use. It makes the skies pink at sunrise and sunset, and it shows such a pretty little view in the game. I used to have reshade, but again, that also kept crashing my game. I think I installed it totally wrong, so I took that out, and I've really just kind of fallen in love with the classic game, how it looks. A coworker invited Dylan to poker. I do not care about these game enthusiasm cards. I feel like hobby enthusiasm is so easy to get up. It goes down a lot too. I don't really care if their enthusiasm wanes. I like the juicy chance cards when they get fired, promoted, lose money, gain money. I love the drama that it brings. And Charlie's just teaching Eloise how to use the potty. It looks like she is just about mastered that skill. Like I said, I have full confidence she'll have learned all her toddler skills by her birthday Monday night. And there we go. She just learned how to be potty trained, so now we just need to teach Eloise to walk. And then she will have learned all of her skills. So Charli is very proud of Eloise, is potty trained, and as we can see, Charli's getting a lot of family sim wants. It is her secondary aspiration now. She really wants Dylan and Danielle to get married, and she wants another grandbaby. Well, maybe Dawn will give her another grandbaby, because I really think Dylan and Danielle are a one-and-done type couple. As we've stated multiple times, they're both finance sims, very career-oriented, weren't planning on kids at all. Eloise was a happy accident. And speaking of, Danielle is home from work, just taking a little nap on the couch, still in her work uniform. She had a long day. She pretty much worked 12 hours straight because she got her promotion, came home, and then had to go right back to work. So she is pretty exhausted right now. Eloise is passed out, Charli's passed out, and Danielle is just taking a bath. Like we said, she had a long and eventful 24 hours. She and Dylan went on the date night. They had a long talk about Dylan's fears as a parent and a son. And then Danielle had a full day of work. So now Danielle's just exhausted. She's gonna head to bed. Charli also had a busy day in the garden and then playing with her granddaughter Eloise. She is really concerned about Powell coming back as a zombie. I think she realizes Dylan's closer than he thinks to being able to resurrect people, and she's really afraid that Dylan will go ahead and resurrect his father. I think not only does she not want Powell back as a zombie, I don't really think she wants Powell back at all. And not to say she doesn't miss her husband terribly, but his passing has really opened up a lot of new dynamics in the family. Charli feels like she's able to heal, and I think she's just worried if Powell was back, she wouldn't be able to heal as much as she has been, that she'd be kind of prioritizing the garden again, everybody would slip back into old habits. And I think Charli is really trying, for the first time in her life, to move forward after spending so many years stuck in the past, beating herself up over past mistakes, not letting herself properly mourn the loss of her family. And Charli is really proud of all the progress she has made, and she just wants to keep moving forward. And I think she thinks that bringing Powell back would just be a constant reminder of the past and how things used to be. Of course, as we've learned, this family does not discuss things. Oh, and Dylan is now a tarot card reader. So yeah, he is getting closer and closer. He's moving on up in the paranormal career track. Charli is really nervous about bringing Powell back. And I think Charli also realizes that Powell would be the same. She knows Powell better than anyone in this family, and she knows that her husband would come back and he wouldn't have a new lease on life. He wouldn't be grateful to be back and try to strengthen his relationship with his family. He would just go right back to the same workaholic tendencies, obsessing over his garden, not letting anyone help, and like skipping out on family events to tend to the garden. And Charli just doesn't want Dylan to be disappointed all over again. It is 1 a.m. and all the adults are sleeping, and Eloise is up and playing in the toilet. I've said it before, The Sims 2 toddlers love playing in the toilets more than they love playing with their own toys, which is kind of funny. She's just making a big old mess in the bathroom, and she doesn't have a care in the world. We're gonna go ahead and wake Charli up so she can teach Eloise how to walk, so we can make sure we get that toddler skill in before Eloise's birthday. So now we just have Charli up for the, I was going to say evening. It's very early in the morning, but she's going to be up and taking care of Eloise so the toddler isn't just running around the house unsupervised. And she's also going to take this time to go outside and plant some vegetables in her garden. Like we have seen and talked about before, she is exploring a renewed passion in gardening after taking a little step back following Pal's death and kind of examining her life and what she wants out of it. And she realized she was obsessively gardening. She kind of hated gardening for a minute, the complete 180 after doing it for years and years and years. It's her one true hobby. And after the death of Pal, she was like, do I even really like it? And she was mad at herself for gardening so much and being not very present for her children when they were younger. But recently, I think she's kind of trying to find a balance. She's realizing, like Dylan, that things aren't necessarily so black and white. It's not so clear cut as gardening or family. She can do both. She just needs to find a little balance. And she also has realized that gardening really did help her kind of process all the family tragedy that she experienced as a young adult. And she just could only do what she could at the time. You know what I mean? Like, she could only experience what she knew how to experience. And she was raised not really talking about her emotions. So at the time, gardening was a great outlet for her. She didn't do like a bad vice, nothing illegal, not gambling or anything like that. She just became obsessed with gardening. And yes, she could have been a more present mother, but she's thankful that she's kind of realized now that she wants to be more present and not at the end of her life like Pal. As we saw, Pal had kind of realized he wasn't the best dad, and rather than doing anything with that, he just kind of shut down, became even more antisocial, and then unfortunately passed without having a good relationship with any of his children. So Charli's like, I did the best I could. Gardening served me as a great outlet. It really helped me kind of process all my emotions. And then she had to take a step back and be more present in the family. But she's now like, it's not that clear cut. I can do both. I can have a garden and be with my family. I just can't devote all my time to outside being in the garden. She needs to have more of a balance, and I think she's really found that. As we've seen, she's been painting Dylan's family portrait recently. She's been teaching Eloise a lot of skills. She babysat her granddaughter so Dylan and Danielle could go out on their date night. Charli has made some great strides in the last few days, and unfortunately, that progress came at the death of her husband, but I don't know. Pal was kind of holding her back in a way. And again, not that Pal was a bad guy, but Pal was very strictly focused on gardening nonstop. But like, for what? You know, they didn't really sell their produce. They both worked normal 9-to-5 jobs on the side. They would just work their jobs, come home and garden, and ignore their kids. And Pal kind of led Charli in that direction. She's a grown woman. She can do what she wants, but he definitely influenced her to just focus on the garden and just obsessively making all this fresh produce. And Charli's like, I do like to garden, but it's not my life. I think this realization also is coming with the fact that now has a family sim secondary aspiration. And just kind of really opened her eyes and made her see there's more to life. Like making money is important, as we have seen with Daisy's family. They're kind of struggling. Daisy and Christopher are struggling to pay their bills right now because they keep having kids and they can't really afford it. Daisy's parents infamously cut her off from her inheritance for eloping with the family butler. And now Daisy and Christopher only have one parent working, and they have 4 Sims living in the house, so things are a little tight over there. So money is important to have, but it's not everything. And Dylan and Danielle are just sleeping. They're gonna go ahead and wake up and get this beautiful Monday started. I like how you can see Charli in the background working hard in the greenhouse. Who knows what Eloise has been up to this whole time?
Charli woke up in the middle of the night to watch Eloise, but instead she just went outside and gardened the whole time and didn't really watch her at all. But
It's fine. I think she's just been trapped on the second floor of the house, which is probably good. I think that's where I put all her toys. I didn't realize that until I've been playing this game, but there's like different ways Sims can make the beds. Oh, Eloise has just been splashed around in the toilet. All her needs are looking pretty rough. Okay, that's okay. We're gonna go ahead and feed Eloise and bathe her and get her situated. After we pet Cheddar, of course, who's also been wandering around, doing who knows what. But anyway, yeah, there's different ways to make the beds. The way Danielle makes the bed is so funny. She's like, here, and just kind of throws the sheet down. And I forgot that Eloise is now potty trained, so she can use the potty by herself. And I've said it before, but Charli is one of the prettiest Sims I think I've ever had made in the game. I'm really obsessed with her, and I think she's just such a strong woman. Of course, everybody has their faults. No one's perfect, as Hannah Montana said, but... Oh, and the matchmaker just dropped off a magic lamp. I've said it before, but the way I decide who gets the lamp, it's whoever has the most aspiration points, and I think it's kind of clear that Charli by far has the most. She's the oldest, and she's been in perma-platinum for quite some time now. So Charli will be able to use the magic lamp to make 3 wishes with the genie. And she's kind of freaking out because she knows that she can have Pal resurrected, but she's been so afraid of him coming back as a zombie. I don't think she's gonna do it. Like, the whole family thought that Dylan would be the one to get the resurrection phone, but actually Charli got the power with the genie, and Charli's not gonna do it. And I think that's gonna cause some serious strain in the family. So Charli is just heading outside to go examine this mysterious lamp that the matchmaker dropped off. I think she knows what's gonna happen. Like I said, she's kind of nervous about it. She's heard about this mysterious lamp going around other houses in Viper Falls, and now the power is in her hands. So the first thing she's going to do is she's going to play it pretty safe, and she's just going to wish for some more money. The family already has a decent amount of money, but I think she knows that with a little bit more, they can kind of build Eloise her own room. They can do some much needed renovations, and just the family won't have to stress as much. She knows Danielle and Dylan are both fortune sims, and I really think she doesn't want them to do what she and Pal did and just spend their whole adulthoods working, always striving for money. Dylan's already kind of figured out that he needs to find a balance. He needs to work hard and play hard, and not just to work hard all the time. So Charli is definitely trying to set up her family for success. And then Danielle is here talking to Dylan. She's like, we're gonna get older too one day, but you'll always be hot. And he's like, okay, thank you. The high heels on the bed are so funny. Just ripping holes in the bed sheets. Anyway, the spark between Danielle and Dylan is still very much alive and well. Dylan's like, I'm so glad we met. Danielle's like, plus a plus. And the carpool will arrive for Danielle in about an hour. Not Charli just coming in and using the computer. Oh my gosh. She's like, I need to do some research right now about magic lamps. Again, I think Charli is really freaking out because she's kind of faced with this moral, I don't know, issue, this moral dilemma where she's like, Dylan really wants to bring Pal back, but Charli knows if she brings Pal back, nothing's going to change. She was married to Pal for like 40 years. She knows that her husband loved his kids very much, but he was more afraid of his emotions than Charli is. And he wouldn't take the second chance on life to like do stuff with the family. He would just come back and keep gardening obsessively and ignoring all his family. And Charli knows that would just break Dylan's heart. The older twins that Charli has, John and Dawson, they moved out when they were 18. I think they kind of got hip to Pal's weird dynamic sooner than Dylan did, but Dylan is the youngest and there's an age gap, and Dylan just kind of always held out hope that he and his dad would have a good relationship, and I think that's where his obsession of resurrecting his dad sort of came from. He was like, if I could just bring him back, I know we'd have a good relationship. But Charli kind of knows the truth. And Charli's like, you guys are never going to have a good relationship because Pal just can't appreciate things. And he really struggles with his emotions. And I think Charli is also nervous to bring back her deceased husband because she's like, what if it totally changes the dynamic of the house again? Like, everybody's kind of exploring their hobbies, being so much nicer to each other. Just not taking things for granted anymore, the big old sack of money. But I think Dylan's gonna see the sack of money and he's gonna be like, okay, bring Dad back, bring Pal back. Charli is teaching Eloise how to walk because Eloise is aging up in just a few short sim hours. And Dylan's gonna come out here, collect this bag of money, and he's like, where did this bag of simoleons come from? And because Dylan's in the paranormal career, he doesn't know like a scientist, but he's like aware. There's a lot of signs pointing that like aliens exist and genies exist. And he's like, oh my gosh, do you have the special magic lamp that the matchmaker gives? He's so excited. He's like, Pal is coming back. This is awesome. But only Charli can make wishes on the lamp because she's the one with the high aspiration. She's the one who unlocked the genie. So it really all is in Charli's hands if Pal comes back or not. Dylan's like whistling. He's got a little song in his step. He's like, Pal's coming back. This is what we always wanted. And of course, Charli also has the fear in the back of her mind that Pal might be resurrected as a zombie. And that would just totally horrify the whole family. She's like, we can't bring back Pal as a zombie with Eloise here. Eloise never even knew her grandfather. They bring him back, and then he passes again. Won't that be so traumatizing? And Charli's just like, I can't do it. I can't bring Pal back. She hasn't said that to Dylan yet, but I think he's gonna learn very quickly when she uses all her wishes and Pal does not come back. And that's gonna create a serious rift in the household. Charli is avoiding any and all questions about the lamp and where the money's coming from, and she's just like, I'm just trying to teach Eloise all her toddler skills. Charli's like, why keep bringing up the past? Let's let the past stay in the past. Let the dead stay dead. We need to focus on our own lives now. We have a little chance card for Danielle. We can pause to read. I think she would do old school. Oh no, she lost a creativity skill point. Whatever. And then Charli is just teaching Eloise how to walk. I don't think we're going to be able to get her to learn to walk in time before her birthday. But that's okay. She's still in gold aspiration. I think she learned how to talk and she's potty trained. So we got 2 out of 3 skills done. There was a lot of drama kind of going on when Eloise was aging up. So it's understandable she didn't quite get everything. It's a miracle that she learned any skills at all. And then Dylan, he's like, okay, Powell's coming back. He doesn't yet know, or Charli hasn't yet told him she's not going to bring Powell back. And I think Dylan's going to be really mad at first, but he's going to understand. It's going to take him a little bit of time to understand why his mom chose not to bring his dad back. But ultimately, when he thinks about it, he's like, you're right. I have this idealized version of my relationship with Powell in my head, and it's just not what reality is. But for now, he's just playing darts. I'm not sure if he works today. I think he might. And now he's gonna give Cheddar some lovin'. Cheddar loves to go up to everybody in the house. Oh, and it looks like we actually did teach Eloise how to walk. Her aspiration just went platinum. That is so awesome. But Cheddar goes up to everybody in the house, and he's always begging for food, which is so funny. He's clearly a well-fed dog. There's like 3 adults living here. He's always being fed. But it's funny how he's always begging. He even begs Eloise sometimes for some of her snacks. Okay, and then Dylan just headed off to work. Awesome! And Eloise learned how to walk, talk, and was potty trained. She learned all her toddler skills. Charli is just cleaning up around the house as usual. She knows she has to break the news to Dylan later this evening that Powell will not be coming back, that she's going to use her genie wishes on fulfilling their own life rather than bringing up the past. I don't know what Cheddar is howling at. And then I think it is about time for Eloise to age into a child. I'm so happy she got all her skills met. We are cutting it really close with learning how to walk, but she did learn. Now she's aging up in platinum aspiration, setting her up for success and a nice long life. I do have some mods installed for aging. I do have it so if they age up with platinum aspirations, they get an extra little 1 slot. That's why some Sims have 6 1 slots and some only have 4. I also have a randomizer on for when they age into teenagers. So everyone who's born in game, their first aspiration's totally random. If they get enough aspiration points to get a second aspiration, I kind of pick that based on what I think their character would like. But the first aspiration's always random. And Charli just wished for a longer life because she said, I'm going to take the time I have and I'm going to make the best of it. So her lifespan just went back a few days. She wants more time with her family to get things right. And now she only has 1 wish left. And she's thinking, she's kind of considering, she's like, should I bring Powell back? Charli is really torn, and honestly, she just wants what's best for her family. Here's Eloise looking through the telescope. She's absolutely adorable as she spies on the neighbors. And Danielle's home from work and immediately hopped in the bath to take a nice long soak. She's always taking lots of baths because she works as the dancer, so her muscles are always sore. Charli's out here playing with Cheddar, just thinking about her next move. She's like, maybe I should bring Powell back, but I think she knows deep down, bringing Powell back would just totally change the dynamics of the house, and she's so afraid that she won't be as close to Eloise, that she'll feel obligated to work in the garden more. Danielle is just taking a little nap in Charli's room. She's not quite ready to go to bed yet, but her energy level is pretty low. And then we're going to go ahead and hang Dylan's portrait up in their bedroom. Didn't realize until playing this game as an adult that you can add frames to the portraits you hang in the house. Before, I would just always have the portrait with no frame, and the frame really adds that nice touch. And now Danielle is also noticing the bags of simoleons in the hallway, and she's starting to realize that Charli has the genie or is in touch with a genie. And Danielle's kind of like, oh no, like Powell definitely did not like her and Danielle definitely does not want him resurrected. I built a little bedroom over here for Eloise. I totally designed it like a dream bedroom, how I would want if I was a child. And then we moved the portrait of Dylan over here. So Danielle thinks that Charlie's gonna bring back Pal. Eloise has no idea what's going on. She doesn't even really remember Pal again. I think she was still a baby when he passed. So a lot has happened in this week. She doesn't even remember him. So she's in bed. She has like no beef in this fight. And she wants to make a wish with the genie as well as become best friends forever with her grandmother Charli, which I think is kind of telling and also a great sign for Charli that her granddaughter wants to become best friends forever with her. Let's see. Danielle's losing enthusiasm. Nobody cares. And then Charli is just taking a nice long bath and reflecting if she's doing the right thing by not bringing Powell back. She's like, I really have enjoyed being there for everyone's milestones. And I think Charli's just really afraid that Powell will come back and he'll be the exact same guy he was before. Danielle said, F it. I'm going to start writing my own novel now. Heavily inspired by Joe Clark's best-selling novel, Danielle also wants to become a best-selling author. And I went ahead and did a little makeover in their room. I gave them a new computer, a new desk. It was like leftover from Dylan as a child, the desk stuff before. So Danielle is now hard at work on her own best-selling novel. Everything that's transpired has really influenced her. I think this is her inspiration. She's going to write a zombie novel about a father-in-law coming back to life, kind of taking a page out of Joe's book and writing what you know. I mean, that's what they tell you to do, right? To write what you know. Charli is going to bed with a lot on her mind, while Danielle is just busy typing away. She has this new inspiration that she was looking for so long, and she's really determined to become a best-selling novelist. That's her dream. She loves to write. She's always been talented in dancing, but writing is her true love, unlike Joe, who I think was just kind of writing as a get-rich-quick scheme. And then Eloise is sound asleep. She has her first day of school in the morning. She's super excited. And she really wants to make a wish with the genie. I think she doesn't fathom what a big deal it is that Charli's in touch with the genie. And Charli kind of confided in her granddaughter a little bit. She's like, I get 3 wishes. I already used 2. I don't know what to do with the 3rd one. And Eloise is like a little kid. She's like, oh, I know. Like, let me pick. Like how little kids always want to blow out like candles at someone else's birthday or open all the presents. Eloise is like, let me make a wish. But Charli has worked hard for this lamp. The matchmaker only gives it to Sims who have a lot of aspiration points or are in perma-platinum. So really, it's Charli and Charli's decision alone to make. But I think she is going to sleep on it a little bit before she makes her next move. Dylan came home from work to immediately smell the flowers, and he's just staring at that lamp sitting there, taunting him. He knows it's kind of fruitless. He can't make a wish. It's his mom's decision. But he's starting to get a feeling that his mom doesn't want Powell back or his dad back. And Danielle is just typing away. She had a totally different interpretation. She's like, oh my gosh, of course Charli's going to wish for Powell back. That was her husband. But Dylan's like, wait, no, if she would have done it, she would have done it by now. And the fact that she's dragging her feet means that she doesn't want to do it. Just like how Charli sat in that bath earlier in the night and was like, I don't want to bring Powell back. Now Dylan's sitting there and he's like, why won't she just bring my dad back? It's so easy. Again, he has kind of rose-colored glasses on the whole ordeal with his father. Dylan is remembering Powell and their relationship for being much better and stronger than it actually was. There was a lot of tension. And Powell was now the father that Dylan needed him to be. And Charli, for a long time, was also not the mother that Dylan needed her to be. But now Charli is trying to go above and beyond with everything. There's just so much to unpack in this family. And you can kind of see how the trauma of Charli then trickled down to affect Dylan and Dawn and Dawson. And then Dylan's trauma is now affecting Eloise. Eloise has the closest relationship in the house with her grandmother, which is good that her grandmother is such an active participant in her life, but also it's telling, like I said, that Eloise wants to become BFFs with her grandma and neither of her parents because I think Charli taught her all her skills.
Charli really stepped up and became the best grandma ever.
And Eloise is dreaming about her mom. She thinks her mom's a really pretty cool dancer, but she's like, I don't really feel that connection with my mom that she feels with her grandmother. Charli and Eloise are BFFs. Well, not yet, but they're going to become BFFs very soon. It is about 4 in the morning. I also went and built a pool in the backyard with some of the money that Charli got from the genie. Charli, speaking of, is now awake, and I think she knows what she's gonna do, but she wants to talk to Dylan first, run it by him, or not run it by him, but just let Dylan know ahead of time. I'm not gonna bring Powell back. You can do whatever when you get the resurrection thing, but this is my life, and I don't want to bring him back. And Charli's like, am I a bad person? Charli knows Powell best, and Charli knows that Powell would just go back to the same routine. He'd just be in the greenhouse all the time. I don't know why Cheddar just glitched so hard trying to get out of the dog bed. But Charli's like, hey, Cheddar, what's up, baby boy? I know you would never be mad at me. And as you can see, Charli just has no relationship with Danielle, but she's best friends with Cheddar and Eloise and Dylan. And Charli's just like, I don't want to bring Powell back. He's going to mess up this dynamic. Charli's worked so hard the past few days to get in a good place again with her children. Dawn came back over for the first time in a long time. She taught Eloise all her skills. And Charli's like, I just want to be a grandma. I want to garden part-time. And I think she just feels like she would have responsibility for Powell if he came back and he acted the same way he did before. Very cold and distant and way more interested in his garden than his family. And I love how Eloise hopped out of bed and started painting immediately. I think she's got some creative genes, just like her mother. And honestly, her grandmother, because
Charli did paint Dylan's family portrait herself.
Here we can see the new pool that just got built. I have a tendency, it seems, to build pools in the fall, winter, so the family can't really enjoy it quite yet. But come springtime, best believe, they will be in that pool around the clock. And Charli decided to go outside and kind of talk to her plants, talk about everything that she just needs to do. And she's telling the plants, like, do you guys think I should bring Powell back, or is it a waste? I have all this pressure on me to just keep repeating things how they were before, but I'm in a whole new world now. And she's just laughing with the plants. The plants can calm Charli like no one else. I believe they have to have maximum enthusiasm in the nature hobby to talk to plants. And then once they do, it's a kind of helpful. They can talk to like dying and sick plants, and the plants just get boosted up immediately. They go back to normal. So I think Charli has kind of listened to her plants, her girls, and she's like, I'm not going to bring Powell back. It's my life. And I'm going to save that third wish for me. I think she's going to wish for an even longer life because she just wants to spend as much time with her family as she can. Selfishly, she's like, Powell didn't listen to the doctors when he was sick. He refused to be bedridden. He kept trying to overexert himself. He kind of did it to himself. Everybody else just got the flu and recovered, but because Powell couldn't be away from his garden for more than a day, he got pneumonia, which ultimately led to his demise. So Charli's like, I feel like it would just be a wish wasted on him. Danielle's like, wow, I'm hungry. And again, Dylan's kind of come to the conclusion that his mom will not be bringing his dad back to life. And he's struggling to understand why. Like, he gets it to an extent, but he's also like, why would you not want him back in our lives? That's the father of your children. I think Charli just stayed with Pal out of guilt for so long, too, because Pal never made her feel bad about the whole Joe Carr affair. And then, of course, Charli's siblings and mother all dying the same day really did a number on her. And she just became so afraid of change for so long. But the older Charli gets, the more she realizes life is all about change. And things hurt because they matter to you. And Charli thinks she'd rather have it hurt and matter than not feel anything at all. And I think Dylan's understanding that too. His mom doesn't have to say it, but he's kind of thinking about it. And there goes Eloise off to her first day of school. But he's kind of been thinking about it. And he's like, no, like, Dad was super stubborn. I don't think he would cherish a second chance at life. Danielle's also kind of pointed out to Dylan, she's really good at talking Dylan down from a ledge, that, yeah, he just wouldn't cherish the second chance at life like most people would. He didn't really cherish his first chance at life because he refused to bed rest when everybody was yelling at him to do so. Dylan is stressed playing darts, and Danielle's just trying to calm him down. She was like, your dad also started that rumor that I had an affair. And Dylan's like, you know what, you're right. My dad made life really hard for you. So I don't think the family's going to bring Pal back, which is kind of interesting. There was all that hope and talk about it when Pal first passed. Dylan really tried to accelerate in the paranormal career so he could get the resurrection phone. And now that Pal's not coming back, Dylan is finally able to grieve his dad, I think. I think he's realized, no, having Pal back would not change anything. Their relationship would still be the same. Pal's always been so stubborn, and his mom knew his dad best. And if his mom doesn't want to do it, he can't force her. Dylan gets where his mom is coming from, but at the same time, he's like, she doesn't really know how he would act. Like, he could act totally different and brand new. We have never been in this situation before. We've never seen a resurrected Sim before. So we really don't know how he's going to act. So Dylan is definitely, secretly, still working hard to get that promotion so he can get that resurrection phone. But he is definitely keeping that plan a secret, especially after seeing Charli and Danielle's reactions to the idea of Powell coming back. Now Danielle is excitedly telling him how she finally has some inspiration for her book. She's gonna write a zombie thriller. And Dylan's like, oh, that's interesting.
Crack.
Charli has a whole new lease on life. She's taking things day by day, enjoying the small moments. She is kind of resurrected. Charli resurrected herself. And that has made all the difference. So I think we're going to go ahead and start wrapping things up for this episode right here. I hope you guys enjoyed learning more about Dylan and his family. Our next episode is going to be focused on Denver, who is... I don't even know how... He's a distant cousin of Dylan. And Denver will be going through his own family trauma, as we'll see how they all process that. I'm so excited to unpack more. And we are officially also halfway through the series. So we only have 4 more households, 8 more episodes left of season 1. And then we're going to start season 2. And season 2, things get really juicy, y'all. I can't wait to share more. So we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. Danielle is just digging through the fridge. And Charli is finally kind of at peace in her garden, doing things on her own term, slowly spending more time with her family. Eloise is at school. She really, really wants Danielle and Dylan to get married. So I guess we'll see if they get married next time. Okay, y'all. Thank you guys so much for watching. And we're just going to end this episode with a nice little family dinner or family lunch. All three of them finally sitting down. And Charli is getting what she always wanted, just someone to eat with and share these special moments with. And of course, they're using the ripe, perfect tomatoes that Pal grew to eat. And it's thanks to him that they're able to enjoy this meal. And they know that he's looking down on them and watching over them. And yeah, it's a very sweet moment, y'all. I'll see you guys next time. Okay, guys? Bye.